season. Something Koi didn't do. That already just tells you what you need to know, in my eyes. No? Or is that too ludicrous?
I wouldn't say it's ludicrous. But I don't see a clear winner.
I just feel that for both sides, WYLDE have been consistently inconsistent. That's the first thing for WYLDE. They have been this entire year. And Koi have been just consistently not up to scratch, not up to par. So you're dealing with one team who just really haven't shown us anything that we can go off and say, oh, that was good siege and they can really get a win. And then you have another team in the hand where we know they can go in and dominate a win or can easily get rolled over themselves. It's a really strange matchup.
Yeah, I think a lot's going to be said in the first couple of rounds of this game and just see how exactly it all transpires. I'm not sure what Leon's trying to show us there. Looks like a poorly developed photo.
It's
like
Polaroid or something.
Poorly developed Polaroid. Get your mind on the game, Leon. Come on.
Cran's yawning. He's tired already. Past his bedtime.
Hungary's having the yawn now. It's the contagious yawn.
Them two are old, that's probably why.
Hungers has been yawning for about 40 seconds there. It is pitch black where he is as well, so obviously
Dark Knights are coming in.
They are, it's drawing in. When do the clocks change?
End of the month, is it not?
It's got to be fairly soon, hasn't it? We're in that golden age of the year where it's still nice and light, like it's 6 o'clock now and it's still quite nice out. But in a month's time, it's just going to be dark.
It'll be dark, of course. Classic weather for this time of year. And then, there hasn't been too much snow, but certainly the rain will be coming in its hordes, and that just means we get to sit inside and watch more Siege, Ollie. That's what we get to do.
Well, we do have the major coming up. We do.
Big major. Still a few more qualifiers still to go down. I know that you still have to find out the Brazil and how they finish things off, who they send. But before we get to Brazil, we have to find out who from EU is going to be going to the major to round off with BDS, Wolves, and Virtus Pro. Koi start off things on the attack, and they're straight to the point, Ollie. They've brought in the Monty. Good operator for pushing in towards blue. You can feed that information, of course, across to your attackers. Would like to see them get some operators around here with some burn, Ollie, to get rid of those ADSs, and oh, that's not a good start. Hosty is first to fall. Talk about nades. They are gone now, Ollie. And for clearing out these positions, especially, you know, the deployable shield and even deeper in towards elbow, you need those nades.
You really do. There's only so much that you can do with a Monty just bearing down onto you. Crying. He's going to find a trade back onto the Warden. A very important pick. It's going to add a little bit more value to the smokes that Deek has, but Leon's going to fall. Packful takes him down. That's not what you wanted to see. Deek now has to try and push on through. He's going to pick one back as a trade, but Jegs isn't finished yet. Grabs himself another Crying, trying to make something happen on those rear stage steps. What a bold peek from Deek. He's found 2 massive kills, but unfortunately it's all going to be for naught as Aces clears the final 2. That push never really getting started there.
Where do you go? What do you talk about there? It's the Monties just tried to brute force their way in. They lost the nades early on. Deek done really well to get 2 kills back, even with the F2. That's probably the strangest thing out of the whole round. He's using the F2. It's not a favorable gun anymore. The recoil is just too much to consistently get kills across. But there was nothing there from Koi. What was the game plan? You didn't open up a hatch. You barely put pressure onto the tower stairs. Just everyone coming in from construction. That's not going to work.
No. We need a little bit more than that to our Oregon pushes.
Of course you do. It's lazy. It's lazy Siege, is it not?
Well, it did strike me as being a little bit lazy. I think that Koi were just trying to get a quick round on him.
That's
but
it.
WYLDE were ready for it. Yeah. You know, no one was roaming. There was no catalyst. When we talk about the teams that are opportunity spotting and that will really bear down a lot of pressure onto a single point, it's because there's an opportunity. There was no opportunity there. WYLDE were more than ready. The elbow was played exceptionally well. The shield was yeah, it was all as it should be. You know, not even a sniff toward Freezer. or laundry. First round, though. We can always wipe that one away and see how Koi approach things now. It's still going to be a very team-orientated sweep through this ground floor. They're going to look to try and clear out any of these roamers that are going to be hanging around there. They've got a bit of information. Looks as though Jigsaw is aware that Packball's going to be playing downstairs. Packball just making a little bit of vert. Packball's almost made himself a little bit of a coffin there.
Yeah.
He will have the hatch that he can dip himself out of, but it's probably not going to last forever.
No, but I do like this position. I think it's a tricky one for attackers to deal with whenever you actually look at security. You've got all those walls reinforced, so you're safe from that side. And if you want to try and face check onto a player inside security, you're kind of entering into that dreaded crossroads where you have all those different doorways and corridors all converging into one point, and you can get swung from multiple different angles, so it's never as safe as what you would think. And even vertical angles can be held by the players upstairs in the site to try and support Packball. One thing you do notice, though, Wally, is he hasn't opened the hatch for himself. He's looking to stay here indefinitely. He's ready to die for this position. I suppose if you do have somebody constantly inside security, double window's never an issue for you from a defense perspective.
Yeah, the reverse vertical works very well there. Packball does, of course, have the ability to open the hatch, but if it comes down to that, it's probably a little bit too late. Jigsaw, he's just going to try and see if he can catch anybody out there, but with Packball's positioning here and the rest of Wild being relatively passive in their locations, things aren't looking too bad. There's one nade left for Hosty. If Hosty can find a bit of value out of that, they might have something to work with.
Look at that mirror window that Jegs is behind, over towards Attic. This is one that I haven't seen before. It's a mirror window placed inside a kid's looking in towards, double window. If you know a team is going to be pushing in from the west side of the map, this is a great mirror window. You're never going to be pressured from behind and towards Attic or in towards Armory. It only works if a team goes just one side of the map. And in this case, it is going to work out for them. Koi is just pushing one side of the map. Packball is still untouched below. And like we mentioned, as long as he's in this position, double window is not going to be a problem. The swing does go in. The repel will just jump you forward, but right into the arms of Aces. Packball with the C4 below. Koi trying to do the bare minimum, but you're playing into the hands of Wild. Aldi, they were ready for that push all day of the week.
Wild knew exactly what they were coming up against there. A flawless round here for round number 2. It does strike me as a little bit lazy from Koi. I'm going to be honest with you. You need to deal with Packball. If you can't deal with him by shooting down the door or, trying to make something happen, get the walls gone. Destroy those reinforced walls. Make him feel uncomfortable down there. You've got to invest a little bit of utility in that area of the map for the future of the round. We've seen 3 kills so far in 2 rounds from Koi.
I don't really know what the game plan is. I'm stumped. Any ideas?
Any postcards?
Chat, any ideas? What is the game plan for Koi?
Are we doing a phone-in?
I'd love to do. Honestly, that's one thing I wish we could do. But sadly, we don't trust people to come on the show. That's always the issue.
We also haven't got a phone. We've not got a number that we can give.
That's true. We could give them your number.
I'm not sure that's how it works, to be honest.
I mean, Wild, they're reading them very well. Every setup they've went for, they know what Koi's going to do. Wonder if Koi are going to try and go off the beaten track and play not as predictable, I suppose. And look at the setup they're going for now. Obviously, Osa will be the main priority for them in getting Cryan into a position where he can set up the shields, and then the diffuser can be planted behind it. Wild, a classroom hold. You don't see those all too often, Ollie. Those are risky to go for. But if you just want to put up a bit of a fight and try and burn some early information, shoot a couple of drones here or there, and then fall back as quickly as what you can, then it does make a lot of sense. Jigsaw, he's actually hunting for the player on the back tower stairs. Hungry, he's stationed there. He has a couple of goo mines, which Jigsaw should be careful of. If one of those goes in the foot, you'll know about it. They do a lot of damage now, Ollie, with the changes and just the sound cue, obviously, an ever-presence of having that Legion. Hungry has just impacted the tower door and ran out on Leon, shot him in the head and walked back in. And nobody from Koi is reacting to it.
Deepek's even inside a garage there. Jigsaw caught out inside of the goo mine. Hungry might be about to find another air, but no, Cryan puts an end to it. But his job's done. He spent half the round. He's got rid of the thermite. Great little effort there. Deepek now going to turn his attention into the classroom. Teb not really being given too much reason to move right now. Again, we see Koi stalling out. We can start to see the idea of what they're going to be going for here.
But they don't have the thermite to get the wall open, though. They have to go for the soft wall, which isn't going to help them. They will toss over the Selma charge, but that doesn't give you the big opening.
Oh,
and Jigsaw, what have you went for? They've also missed an EMP grenade. Did you see that?
Yep.
Oh, it's going horrendously wrong.
Selma caught out inside of the mute jammer. Aces, he can play quite close and aggressive to this breach, gets a good couple of points of damage into Cryan. Still can choose to drop the hatch, centers out the C4, confirms the kill onto Cryan. Hosty, you've got to make a lot happen from a single doorway, especially now you're getting choked out by the Toxic Babe canisters. Deepek will find one onto Aces, but the job isn't done yet. 30 seconds left. Hosty, he doesn't know which way to turn. He's going to come face to face with a shotgun right now if he's not careful, and he will. Jegs finds one, taken out by Deepek. Deepek, the only player so far showing any signs of life on the side of Koi. 4 and 2. 18 seconds to find 2 kills. Does have the kit. He's going to move in, transition onto that stage. Trying to dig out the player behind the chassis, but he was always going to be going up against 2, and Teb manages to thread it. Great finishing shot there. Teb hitting classroom for the whole round.
He did. He sat in there, seeing him reinforce the walls, and nobody came to pester him. You had Deepek inside a garage, and that was it. Just, Koi don't seem interested in actually looking to kill these players. And, you know, classroom's quite an easy position to kill somebody in. You have that window. You can open up, and it just makes that room just become null and void for a defender. He can't escape because then you're going to have someone in garage holding his run out, and you just eventually just choke him out with it. But it never came. Again, I just don't know. I don't know. This feels very similar to what we've seen previously with ITB and Secret. Where do you go from here?
I can only imagine we're in some sort of a timeout.
Has to be.
And it's got to be a Koi time. Oh, no, it's a technical check, it seems.
Check. Jegs with his hat on.
I think it's Jegs' birthday today.
Happy birthday.
I'm pretty sure I saw a tweet that just said 20. So
yeah, it's also Newt's birthday as well.
Wow, imagine sharing a birthday with a 2-time.
I mean, Jegs isn't a 2-time. So, you know,
no, but Newton.
Pengu shares it with Jegs. Jegs is the player here. Pengu's nothing compared to the Jegs now.
To be fair, yeah.
Pengu living in the glory days. He's just one of us. He's one of us now, Ollie. Imagine that, lifting hammers to being considered the likes of Demo and Ollie. Have you ever?
I'm not sure he's quite down here yet, but maybe. I can't believe Cryan's still rocking the Rogue banner. I feel like that should be like a thread of questions.
That hasn't been taken down since it got put up.
No, but this is what I mean. I feel like there needs to be a Reddit thread that's like, what is behind Cryan's banner?
I mean, it doesn't even cover...
theorycraft what's behind it.
It's not how a banner works. It doesn't cover anything with a banner.
No, but there's obviously something behind the banner. Like, what is it?
All I see is like an abyss into the door frame.
Yeah. The burning questions. We need to know.
How many stacks of drinks has Giddens got behind him? There's 3 cases of drinks I'm counting.
He's locked in. Expecting the long series.
Hasn't had to leave that house in months. He's stocked up for winter.
I think Leon's got one of the best backgrounds there. I like the shield.
Mm-hmm.
That is a nice cool touch. He's got the little miniature hammer as well.
He's got a good collection of stuff in there.
Jegs is asleep, it seems, or just resting his eyes.
Steps are good. And then you have Pack Bull in his living room. You can tell he didn't decorate that place for them curtains.
Thoughts on Hosty's monitor angle? Did you get a glimpse of that before we transitioned?
I know that monitor angles are always, you know, a contention about how it's done. Nothing will ever top Karzeka. Nothing will ever top what he was rocking with, and I think everyone knows that.
Well, we're back in the game. Thanks for bearing with us. Both teams still have a timeout intact. That was just a technical pause to figure something out. I'm not entirely sure what it was, but we rejoin the action. Back downstairs. Koi still searching for a round, and I'm glad to see... Oh, I've spoken too soon. I was going to say, I'm glad to see the lack of a Monty and Giddens 6 picks into it. Please, no.
Where's your hard breach? You can't just say, oh, we have multi-hard breach gadgets. That's not going to help. How do you break the mirror windows? He doesn't even have hard breach gadgets anyway. Ollie, I don't know. I really don't know about this. You can't win a...
No.
You can't win basement with that lineup.
No.
If they do, I'll give you all the credit in the world. I'll say you're the best team who's played today. But there's no way. You can't win with that lineup. You're missing hard breach. You're missing a big, you know, cluster of utility, usually in the form of we've seen Grim work really well, Capital work really well, neither of those two operators being chosen. So the question is, how do you clear Pillar? You have only one set of nades. You have a few flashbangs in there. Look at the utility that you have to go through with Wild.
Yeah.
Elemines in blue, that's going to be untouchable. You then look at the mirror windows, how to get through them. You can't open up the hatch to save you and get into electrical. Even the mute jammers are going to cause issues. Really, the only thing you would say Koi have is, oh, they can play off drones and just push together. You can't do that if you can't drone, if it's going to get muted.
It relies on one player from Koi making a really bold play here. But it's going to be single doorway peaks. As you mentioned, no hard breach. Getting into bunker is going to be very difficult. Deepek can get a bit of value there out of the shock drone. That could make Freezer a little bit easier. Burn coming in now from Crying. But it isn't really going to have the desired effect. The impact goes out a little bit late, and one of those stuns gets caught up. Tep going to find the first kill onto Hosty. That's the pressure from backstairs neutralized. Second coming in onto Joystick. Aces picks up 2. Koi, they're going at this one at a time. They want to win. Look at Aces go. He's picked up 3. Deepek, he's on drone. What's he going to be able to do from backstairs? Finds himself one, eventually shuts Aces down, but he's got a minute and 4 kills to find. His location's known. He throws out the smoke. Guess what? Tep's on the Warden. Can play on the other side of Pillar. Puts a couple of points of damage in and can now just back off. Wild have got all the time in the world. They can just sit back. They don't need to worry. They don't need to stress. And once again, it's Deepek. The only player with a pulse so far on this Koi lineup. And he's left in the 1 versus 4.
This is given flashbacks to Wild versus Koi, which was the first game for the season for both of these sides, and it ended up as a 7-0 for Koi. It was on Chalet that time around. But I don't see much difference here, Ollie. I really don't. It's just... That's not how you attack that. Basement, right, disclaimer, basement is the hardest defense to attack onto. It is. So difficult. But you're not even giving yourself a fighting chance with that lineup that you've brought. Nothing there is going to worry the defenders in the slightest. Not a thing. Leon's unshielding as the Monty, give himself up twice now, that is.
It's really not good enough. Not for the level that we've seen.
It's too easy for Wild.
To come out of the Into the Breach game versus Secret, now to come into this, it just feels like we're miles off the pace. Absolutely miles. I can't even tell if Wild are playing well at the minute. Do you know what I mean?
They themselves will think, we haven't really had a good test run there, have we?
No,
really. We don't know if our organ's good or not yet.
Wild are doing well.
Yeah.
I'm not suggesting for a moment they're playing badly. They're playing the game in front of them, but I can't tell if they're doing things exceptionally well because the glare, like no hard breach, is unforgivable.
I mean, you can kind of see the setup from Wild. It looks good. It does look good. The way they're properly adapting to Koi, they're setting up the counter strats. The mirror windows have been placed strategically to stop that from happening. I like the addition. Even you look at that blue hole this time. The last time they had a Thorn, this time they have an Ela, because Ella's a lot better at dealing with the Monty, because whenever he walks through the doorway, he becomes automatically unshielded. That's a nice little counterplay from Wild to even help them with a Monty. So in my eyes, they are doing what they need to do, but like you said, it's difficult to judge because they're not really going up against much. They're not.
Yeah, because we've got Pikebull on 3-1, which, if Pikebull's going 3-1, I'm not saying there's a problem, but it doesn't happen every week.
Aces has as many kills as what the entire team does.
I was starting with Pikebull, mate. You know, we got like, Jegs on 3-1, we got Aces on 7-2, and Tev on 6-1. Like, it is. We've not seen Koi win a gunfight. There we go.
Finally, get something work for them.
Hungry's died on the ward in first blood.
It doesn't matter. It's not going to do much. Not a flashbang or smoke in sight for Koi. Only has an MPX of 1.5x. I wonder what Deepek's gonna be up to. Could go in towards Armory. Has been just gifted away to Koi. See that castle barricade with the double wall reinforced in towards bedroom. Ted looking to hold very aggressively in towards that trophy. Make sure nobody can get into bedroom as easy as what they would like. They do have the hard breach gadgets on the Amari and of course the Ace as well. So it's good to see that Koi are taking a more appropriate approach where they're looking to clear away utility. This is all we ask. Just this basic stuff. This is what we want to see from Koi. Get yourself in the bedroom, get the breaches open, clear away that utility, and then start to rotate towards your double window. Then start to look below and maybe push out white. Don't do that first. You know, make sure that Wild don't have all control of the top floor. Push them back, keep them in the site.
I think a lot of this really hinges on the rotation that Koi choose to make and when they choose to make that rotation. Whoever goes round to that double window, whoever goes round to white stairs, they've got the biggest part to play here because, yes, you can start the attack over here. You can use this as a breaching point, but you do need to adapt and you do need to have that sort of two-dimensional approach. They haven't paid as much attention to Pikebull downstairs. That's going to be an ever-present threat here, and he could have a big part to play, especially given that he's got a C4 down there. And he is, in essence, leaving his team pretty light on the side. But look at Jegs go. He's going to destroy the mirror window, recognizing the pressure coming through the attic. And he can now look to try and dip himself away. Gets a little bit lucky there. Does manage to dodge out. There is going to be a player on that big tower. I think it's Deepek is looking to put a bit of pressure on and through. But Deepek just missing his shots.
I wonder where he's going to go, Deepek. Has a couple of options. Hatch is available to him. Could just go straight in towards Kids. Instead, he repels on the Kids rather than using the Gara hook. Which gives him more control, of course, can stay with the clutch of Kids, and oh, that's a good peek from Aces, and oh, whenever he's having a good game, it is not going to be a good news for the enemy side. Crying eventually kills him off. Deepek's had to rotate below, gets hit with a goo mine. They're going to know that someone is below. It leaves Crying by himself in the 1v3 upstairs. He's going to have to go up the hatch. Deepek. In goes the Gara hook, accompanied by the grenade. Is this going to work out? Up he goes. He needs to make this kill happen, but Teb is there in a goo mine. Finishes off Crying. He was on such low HP. My goodness, it's been a while since I've seen a goo mine get the kill cam. That's how it stands. It was a little bit better from Koi, but still the same result for Wild.
And now we can say that Wild are playing well. A much better attacking round from Koi. They did a lot of things really well there. They did some things a little bit poorly, but I liked the initial approach. There was a lot more team play. Unfortunate on a couple of those gunfights, but Wild, they are hitting their shots. They've taken those first 4 rounds, and it's just fueled them. These guys are untouchable right now. Jegs 5-1, Teb 7-1. They're really firing on all cylinders. Could be about to see a flawless sweep on their defense. Now going to be going into meeting. This was a bit of a struggle last time from Koi. It wasn't the end of the world. They managed to get the door open, but there was, I think, a bit of a miscommunication on just exactly clearing Teb out of Classroom. I don't think that Teb should be allowed to play in Classroom again if that's where he chooses to hang out. Which, given by the utility that has been invested in the area, I would say that's probably where he's going to be. But I think it needs to be more of a focus here from Koi to clear that player out.
Yeah, I would just want to see them go for the juggler. Just go straight in, find these players, but playing by themselves. I feel as though Wild, obviously they're going to feel confidence because it's a 5-0 and look at all the kills that they have. You should be punishing these players for these plays, and that just doesn't help.
What a shot.
It just doesn't. You've lost Crying, you've lost an entry there. Koi, it's just... I'm lost for words. I really don't. Koi have done the unthinkable. They've made me stop talking. Looks like the team who's made Demo shut up.
There's not many. Teb's not finished here, though. I said that I wanted them to pressure him inside of the classroom, but Koi might be about to feel the pain of that. C4 goes out. Surely that hits. Yes, it does. Second on the round. Can he make it?
How?
3? Yes, he can.
How
does he get away with this? He'd got more if he had more ammunition. Eventually shut down by Leon. Leon can start to pressure him to side, but what's he realistically going to do? He's going to meet Aces head on. Deepek, where have you been here before? Oh, I don't know. Only 3 of the last 6 rounds. Last player alive. 4 Wild members standing. Oh dear, oh dear.
It's just a sad affair for Koi. Deepek, he's been trying, but he just shouldn't be left in these situations. It shouldn't happen. He's a support Ollie. He's not the one who should be having to kill everything that moves. It's supposed to be the other ones. We've got 2 players, Jigsaw and Hosty. 0-6, both of them. It's not good enough. There's no way it's good enough if you want to be making it to majors. Deepek, such a sliver of HP. Just when will they swing? When will they swing? When will they just put him out of his misery? There goes the peak. This is some shots, Deepek. Ball gets opened up. I'm surprised nobody's hit him on the back yet. Gumai, maybe another Gumai kill perhaps. C4 misses. Packbull, as patient as ever. I mean, this is good discipline from Wild at the end of the day.
Fantastic.
It's, you know, it's something that we maybe sometimes don't see enough of from Wild, as they can get a little bit gun-ho, but looks as if they've worked on it very well. And they're just going to wait for him, just taking the mick out of him, aren't they? And there's a one-tap from Aces, who has been untouchable, Ollie. Yeah, there you go, 6-0.
I was going to comment on that. The discipline there from Wild is fantastic, because this hasn't always been the most disciplined side. We've questioned this side sometimes on basics, and we've questioned them on discipline. And to see players just happy to almost take the hands off the keyboard and just, you know, it's fine. He can't get us. We know exactly where he is. Just wait. Even though you're up 5 rounds, even though you're in a 3 versus 1, I don't know. It just guarantees the round, and it's nice to see. There are so many times that we see, you know, rounds of Siege lost through silly peaks and silly swings, and it's great when players and teams have that discipline and they've got that patience to just be like, yeah, we're happy to wait and see what happens. Wild, very deserved. 6 rounds in a row. Leave themselves on a match point. Now, I don't want to speak too soon, but I don't think that Koi are going to do the same. I do not see this Koi side picking up 6 rounds on the defense. And that's not a comment on the way that they've played yet. It's more a comment on the gunfights. We've still got 2 players with 0 kills, Demo.
Ollie, it's been another 2 rounds, another potential 10 kills that Koi could have got, and Aces still has the same amount of kills as them all together. Still, that is... Have you ever? I've never seen anything like that before. Ever. You look at the look at the lineup change from Wild. Look at the lineup change. What do they have? They have the Grim. That's going to be your main way of getting in towards Pillar. Albeit, I think it's going to be a bit of a risky one, you know, because I think Grim is, yes, he's good, but still, it's just a straight-up gunfight. You have to win. But it's better than what Koi were doing. Have to make sure they keep Teb alive, though. He's the only form of hard breach. Has to get himself in towards meeting. So obviously with the lineup that you see chosen, with the lack of hard breach, it will just be a straight up blue take, similar to what Koi done. But, oh, don't tell me they're just going to try and do the same. If they get away with it, it shows where both teams are at.
It really does. Aces are going to be moving quite quickly down here. Gets the read and the kill over onto Leon. Immediately downed. But there are players inside the site here for Wild. The plan's starting to go down. Jigsaw, welcome to the scoreboard, my friend. He finds his first. He is going to get blocked off by the Monty here, though. 3 versus 3 as Packbull is re-attempting that diffuser. A C4 will miss from Crying. And Deepek finishes Packbull off with the Toxic Babe. Teb, he's been caught out. He's still upstairs in meeting. Hungry, he is all on his own here, trying to fend off. The diffuser is very much recoverable, but don't forget, if you've got a Monty, it is 1 less gun, and it puts even more pressure on Teb and what he's got to try and achieve here. Hungry, he's going to try and get this plant down. There's nothing really left to stop it. There are no Toxic Babes, there are no C4s, and if Teb can cover, it's likely going to be a Wild round. Hungry, he's done the hard work. He's just going to keep the shield up, but no, goes for the unshield. What are you doing, Hungry? Deepek picked up 3. Jigsaw, he's finally found the scoreboard and got 2 important kills. Plenty of time to disable that diffuser. Hungry, Unshielding in the heat of the moment.
He's seen the beast. He thought he could have a freebie and active pings just constantly going on to Jigsaw inside a freezer. But if he gets a bit Deek, hey, if you think it would be really scary to think about this side if they didn't have Deek.
Oh, absolutely.
He is, in my opinion, this season, he's been the redeeming quality.
Yeah.
Like, I think he's their best player. He is. I think everyone knows that he is certainly still up there in terms of Europe as one of the best supports. I think he is. I think he's got everything. I think you put him into other teams, the difference that you'll see those other teams have, unbelievable just because you have him. He's really, really talented. Big fan of Deek. But the rest of his team just isn't doing it today. Hosty still not got a kill. Before that assist came in, Hosty was James Bond over here. At least we know what he's dressing up for Halloween.
Jigsaw found a couple, though.
Did, yeah, 2
kills. Which was good.
Gets him on, but you mentioned before, you don't see Koi sweeping 6 rounds same way WYLDE done. You get one, but
yeah.
What does that really do in the grand scheme of things? You know for a fact WYLDE will cheese at least 1 round. They always do. They always manage to cheese a round. They almost did it that time.
That's it, isn't it? You know, attacking onto the basement, you're not really expected to win those as attackers. Yes, you can win it, but you're not expected to. It's usually the other sites on Oregon that you're looking toward to get that advantage. WYLDE, they only need to get lucky once. They don't even need to play well. They just need to get a little bit of fortune going their way. We talk about 50-50s. One of those goes their way, and it's going to be map 1 to them. Don't forget as well, this is a Koi map pick.
It is, and Border's up next, and that is WYLDE all over it. It's the Chaos map, and WYLDE and EU, they are the embodiment of Chaos. Let's see what WYLDE are going to get up to this time. Looks pretty par for the course so far, Ollie, getting in towards bedroom, clearing armory away. Osa comes in as an addition. I suppose that's probably going to help them with maybe getting a plant down just on the trophy door, which is obviously an area that we don't see all too much action in terms of plants going down, but if you have a shield there, then it makes a lot of sense.
WYLDE stalling out for a brief moment. The mute jammers are just causing them a little bit of trouble here. It's stopping that information exchange. We'll see the EMP go out there. And Leon, anyone home?
No,
nope.
Nobody home.
It seems not. Nobody there with the impact. Leon actually does have a bulletproof, so he could be forgiven.
Oh, he didn't have the impact. That's I don't know if that's still correct.
It's more Jigsaw that you want to be looking at for that trick, but regardless. Osti, welcome! Oh dear. Hungry. He's going to find that one as a direct trade as Hosty picks himself up a second. Aces, he's not finished yet, though. He's on the big window, and he is commanding the space there, putting the pain and the pressure over onto Leon, just tucked in to dorms.
I would actually like to see Jigsaw and also Cryan rotate below and double up together. One use obviously the gadget from Solus, and the other feed the information with the C4. I suppose you could also do that, maybe just from Solus sitting on top white stairs and feeding that information through as well. Jigsaw has done, you can see him rotate it back towards that position. See, just call out the information. And they're just going to try and play around this C4. I think that's the correct decision here from Koi. Let WYLDE go for the plant. However, I think that, yeah, this is concrete. That doesn't help them. This is what I mean with the Osa shields. Wherever this goes in, that's not going to help them out whatsoever. Packpool can get a very safe plant down. Cryan a C4. That's going to go to no one. And now 1v3, he has to clutch up.
It's likely going to be Aces from the window to close things out. Barely moved his feet. I spoke about the space that he commands there. Did a fantastic job. And the team of WYLDE really playing to the win condition there. We called out the concrete plan right from the off there inside of that round. Only dropping a single attacking round here on Oregon, and a clean, flawless sweep on their defensive phase. WYLDE have showed that they are here to play demo.